The Barmah and Millewa forests are a vital part of the Murray River system and contain the largest river red gum forests in Australia, covering over 66,000 hectares.
The Barmah Millewa forest is not only important because it's an icon site, it's also part of a Ramsar site. It's also on the Directory of Important Wetlands in Australia. It has huge Aboriginal cultural heritage significance with sites of significance with scar trees, burials, middens. It has spiritual connection for the local Aboriginal people. With regards to European heritage sites, there's remnants of homesteads and sawmill sites and old board trees where the old timers used to put their boards in and climb up and cut the trees down.
Barmah Millewa was chosen as one of 6 icon sites under the Living Murray program. This is one of the largest river and wetland rehabilitation projects ever undertaken in Australia. The inclusion of Barmah Millewa recognises the ecological importance of the forests and their value to the health of the Murray River. Flooding is critical to the ecological health of the Barmah Millewa forest, and plants and animals have adapted to the various flooding regimes found in different parts of the forests. The site is an ecological hotspot for native plants, fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals. The Barmah Millewa forest has a rich Aboriginal cultural history. Communities of many hundreds of Aboriginal people lived around the shallow lakes and creeks, where food and materials were always plentiful. The area has great cultural and spiritual significance. Yorta Yorta people still have a connection with the forests in the same way their ancestors did thousands of years ago.
You have food plants here that we still utilise, you have animals that we still hunt and gather, you certainly have plants that we still utilise for medicinal purposes, and the importance and the beauty of the area is particularly important as well.
Recently, the Yorta Yorta people documented current occupancy patterns and land uses. This information will help ensure that traditional skills and knowledge of the past are not lost and can be used to manage the forests.
The Yorta Yorta peoples are involved very actively in regards to research that we're doing, certainly decision-making processes around what's happening on country, and importantly looking further into doing research for ourselves and by ourselves within the area as well, and are looking towards an involved future with joint management of the area as well.
The Yorta Yorta people remain actively involved in restoring the health of the Barmah Millewa forest, including fish and turtle monitoring and research, and developing strategies to manage the forests.
That's a path that we're looking to take, and that's a path that is going to be an interesting path for the next few generations.
Since European settlement, the forests have provided a range of social and economic benefits to local communities. The Barmah Millewa forest has a history of timber harvesting, as well as being a popular place for camping, fishing and bushwalking. People come from all over the country to experience the rich bird life and the serene forest environment. But the forests have changed since European settlers first arrived. In those days, there were more open river red gum forests and woodlands containing large, widely spaced trees with spreading canopies. Over 1.5 centuries of logging and livestock grazing, as well as invasions by introduced plants and animals, together with the changing flood patterns of the Murray River, have all impacted on the ecological health of the forests and wetlands.
The forests and the wetlands need a little bit of help these days because over the past 70 years we've had river regulation to supply water for irrigation and domestic purposes. That's brought about a change in flood regime. No longer do we get such extended floods or deep floods or the flood return frequency. They've all been reduced and the wetlands are suffering a drier flood regime than what they used to. The changes that we've been observing over the past 70 years has been a big reduction in the number of water birds that have been successfully breeding, also native fish species that have been breeding, and also a big change in the vegetation structure. We've got different plants that are growing where they shouldn't, and we've had big reductions in the famous Morra grass plains.
In 1993, the New South Wales and Victorian governments recognised how important regular and prolonged flooding was to the ecological health of the Barmah Millewa forest and set up the Barmah Millewa Environmental Water Account to hold water for use in times of greatest environmental need. Environmental water is water set aside and used specifically to improve or maintain the health of a river system. In 2005, 514 gigalitres of water was released from storage to water Barmah Millewa Forest. This represented the largest release of water specifically for environmental purposes in Australia. About 95% of this water flowed through the Barmah Millewa floodplain back to the river system, where it was then available for other environmental or consumptive uses.
The environmental water has been used to bridge natural flood peaks, but also to extend the depth of those natural flood peaks and the duration of the flood peaks so that we could achieve the environmental water requirements of plants, fish and water birds. We managed to put small flood peaks in the rivers to allow native fish to breed on the small natural queues that are formed by a pulsing river.
In 2010-11, 410 gigalitres was released to link widespread natural flood pulses, helping to maintain the most significant waterbird breeding event for 60 years.
The environmental water has been used to mitigate some of the damaging components of river regulation, and in doing so we can just allow the wetlands to drain a little bit slower than what they would otherwise do, and we maintain waterbirds on nests. Without the environmental water, many hundreds of nests or eggs would be abandoned.
Traditional owners, communities and governments, including state governments on both sides of the river, are working together to manage the Barmah Millewa forests in order to provide greater environmental outcomes and benefits to the local communities. Operating the regulators to efficiently manage river flows and effectively deliver environmental water has been a major factor in conserving biodiversity and maintaining the long-term health of the forests, wetlands and rivers.
The forest to me means a place of tranquility, it's a place of relaxation, it's certainly a food bowl as you look at it, but the beauty within itself and what it holds, the information that it holds, is yet to be fully discovered and fully utilised. And how do we foster good care and sustainability of this environment for the future?
I personally enjoy coming out to Barmah Forest because of the vast contrast in seasons that are found out here. This site that we're currently standing could be 2 metres underwater during winter and then bone dry during summer. The rich diversity of the plants and animals that are found out here is really fascinating, and just simply seeing the turtles come up and lay eggs, the water birds breed, and sometimes catching a fish or a yabby.
I have a real strong connection with the forests and spent a lot of time out here as a child and growing up and working in the forest. I love the forests and the bird life and the wetlands. It's just a fantastic place to be.